Well guys, today's the day. Sorry if you hear the new garage heater, it's just trying to bring this place up a little bit in temperature. As you can see from last week, if you've seen the little short that I did, there's a fitting that was on here that was cracked. We ground it off, and the sidewall is so thick we just threaded it, and we were able to actually thread the boost tap right into it, which is perfect. We now have a proper boost reading without that crack there. Let's go into what's really left. I have to tighten the oil return because we brought the turbo back in, put the air filters on, fill the coolant system because it's already coolant tight, and then after I do the oil return right there, I'm gonna fill this thing full of oil. From there, brake booster. I have some gaffer tape. We'll wrap that up in the nice tin tape. And then from there, gonna throw on this shield just for now. It's really easy to pull on and off with a bolt. So I'll just loosen the one, slide it in. And that's pretty much for the up top stuff. Other than that, go underneath, of course, the air filters. Gotta remember the air filters, right? I took those off again for while I was bringing the turbo back. And last but not least, just torque the exhaust down below because I haven't done the V-bands yet. And other than that, we're ready to start. It's gonna probably be like seconds for you. For me, it's gonna be a few hours. I'm just gonna go through my checklist I've been making, and then if anything pops into mind, throw it into there. But I'm excited, guys. Today's the day. I wanna at least get it started. It won't be driving anywhere today just because one, there's no tune on it. Two, I'm going to have to put the ignition system, like just the coils, they're going to just be resting down there for right now because I haven't built the custom plate yet. But the biggest thing for today, I just want to get the thing started. Make sure sensors are reading as they should, and then I can start troubleshooting from there. This is definitely painful. All you're going to do is, of course, continuously just fill, but it does, because of the air, come up like this, and just leave it, let it, you'll see air bubbles pop as it goes, and just monitor for leakage. So the goal is, if you're looking in there, see how it's still bubbling, lots good. Just make sure it doesn't go all the way down. Like, keep trying to make sure you're adding fluid before it goes below the neck, and having a funnel that seals in there helps a lot. Otherwise it'll go into the overflow, or it'll overflow in general. So I usually make sure I have a funnel that's tight enough to fit in there. And again, find other things to do, like I'm putting in the air filters right now. Just find other things to do while it's going. We're at a point where it's no longer going down. It took almost 2 full jugs, which is what I would expect. Now I'll just leave this, and again, every now and then it's off gassing. You can squeeze, of course. And if you squeeze, you'll notice you'll probably move around some fluid, might pop some bubbles. You'll see the fluid start going down. Do that to that one, and of course these ones, these little elbows down here. And then again, as soon as you start running it, the water pump's gonna push it. That's why usually for the first little bit, you're gonna leave this, because once the heater core opens up, then it's gonna move some more fluid. So don't worry too much about this right now. Leave it. I'm gonna go ahead and now do the oil for the dry sump, which is like 9.5 liters. Leave it there. Don't put any more than that in there until you run the car. And then you run the car, I'm sure you remember, I think it's wait 5 minutes, check your oil level, make sure it's on the ground, not on the jack stands. And then after you've done that, then you'll know your oil level and you can top it up accordingly. Remember, it's always better to be a little under than a little over. Little under just means not a big deal. Little over, you could run into issues with the oil being too high, and it'll actually, an over-oiled motor will cause more damage than one that's a tiny bit under-oiled. In case you're wondering, I did go with a fully synthetic 5W40. I'd probably use liquid moly later on. This is just going to be in there for tuning and testing and all other stuff, and then I will be doing another oil change. But for right now, making progress. Oil is in, we've gone ahead and we've got our coolant, like I said, just sitting right there. I'm going to do a couple more things up top, just make sure everything is plugged in and buttoned up. So far, so good. I've gone and made sure all my oil ins and outs and everything are tight. No leaks. No leaks. I did find some with the T-clamp, so I did have to tighten those down a little bit. But now that I've gone ahead and tightened those like crazy, they are fine. I did end up going with a couple worm gears though on the radiator side, because I think I could have sized those down to maybe like one size down, which would have been like a quarter size. Anyways, those will work. They're sealed up for now. I already put the air filters on, as you remember during that. Now I'm just going to go play with the exhaust. Other than that, oh, my little makeshift ignition system down there. I know it looks horrible now. Wait till I build the plates and stuff. But at least we have something going on there. I literally think all I have left is the exhaust. That's about it. So far, I quickly threw that in there. Gosh, it looks horrible. Definitely have Dan at least refabricate something here. Although, like I said, I am looking at swapping out that brake reservoir. Because from what I hear, it does melt. So I will definitely swap that out, or at least come up with a better solution. That'll be fine for right now. Everything up here is basically done. Ignition done. I literally just have to twist the exhaust a little bit because it's just sitting really close to that steering rack. Then I'll zip tie that spark plug titanium cover off of the exhaust, and yep, we're ready to start. Everything's ready to go. I went underneath. There is still some stuff I want to heat wrap a little differently, but I did promise you I would start it in this video. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna start it. It might not be for long, but at least you'll get to hear a little bit of what it's gonna be like. Again, I can't do anything too crazy because it needs to be tuned. Gonna get my camera right here held. Let's go ahead and do this. Something that I feel obligated to say too is if it sounds a little bit bad, don't forget the gas is pretty old in this. It's like a year and a half old. Let's see. Alright guys, I'm going to give this one last try. Unfortunately, the battery's completely done on this thing. I've tried to jump start it now. We've had it going and idling for a little bit. I'm going to try my best here. If it at least cranks a little bit, then we're at least somewhere, but it wasn't trying to crank at all before. Let's see what we can do. Well guys, I'm pretty much peaked out for the night. I found out what the problem is though. So, after trying to jump the car and do a few things, I started to really think to myself, I'm like, going back actually on the footage that you would have heard, and I'm like, the starter solenoid's kicking in. You can hear it kick in. So I started doing voltage tests in random places. We have 13 volts currently because the car was being charged by the Jeep. at the fuse box and at the rear. I decided to go underneath the car, pull the starter protector off, and I quickly measured the voltage there, and I'm getting a 1 volt. So we're not getting voltage down to the starter. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start to take things apart, but I think this is going to be a tomorrow thing. Majorly because would I soldier on usually through this? Yes, but even if I did tonight, which I might still do that tonight, I won't be able to start it until tomorrow now, as it's far too late. So I'm going to go ahead, take a look at a few things and see if I can access that starter wire a little easier. I'm just wondering if it came off the bus bar, what's going on. One thing I'm definitely going to do is make that bus bar more accessible later on. It's already being a bit of a pain. But anyways, that's my update. All right, so taking a look here, the starter is hooked up. But the thing is I'm going to now do a continuity test. This goes right to the back of the vehicle, and I have a feeling that I was supposed to run a little jumper from here to that bus bar. And if that's the case, then well, boys and squirrels, it's now 12:46 in the morning, and I've put it all back together. So from this point, tomorrow morning I'll start it and then I'll upload the video. If you're wondering why my video is so late tomorrow, that's why. I stayed up and got her done. All right, guys, it's now in the morning. It woke up nice and early, but not early enough that it'll piss the neighbors off, hopefully. Definitely a bit more quieter now that it's got the turbos on it, which is what I expected.
On the gas, and I need to adjust the wheel a little bit. Well, that could just be moisture. I'll have to double check. Again, I don't know how much fuel was in it or anything like that because this gas is old gas. Exhaust starting to warm up as well. Again, any project like this where you're putting new exhaust on, expect a bit of smoke, but also if you see smoke, you expect where the smoke is coming from. Hey, no check engine light.
Well, there it is for now. Again, still some stuff burning off. Coolant, I'm gonna have to run a little bit. I can already see it. Probably spilled out a little bit. Anyways, biggest thing is working out these air bubbles. I'll start it up again in a bit. Super exciting though. Car is started, operating. Now I need to let it cool. I need to, again, I have to address some stuff. Like I left that one spark plug wire jacket just kind of sitting on there, because I know that it literally rested on the header before, so it's not going to melt it. The only thing I'm gonna have to see how it's going to happen is this particular heat wrap. Have to see how it's going to handle the heat. And again, I don't want to leave too much because of the fact, like, I don't like how exposed this still is. I don't want to melt my boots. I don't want to melt stuff like that. This is one of the corners I still have to figure out. I still have to go ahead and throw on the either a different fuse box cover, or get a new re-edition, because as you can see, this thing doesn't line up with anything. Like, this one might get down there if I'm lucky, and then that one might get down there, but yeah, either way, we'll see how it goes. I'll top the oil up later, and exciting stuff getting there. Anyways, I hope this was exciting as it was for me, for you guys, but probably not, because it's nothing really special. You're not hearing the turbo spool, but I can't really do any of that right now because of the fact that it needs to be tuned. The second reason why is because I got bad gas in here. The gas, you can totally smell it. Need to throw some 94 in there. That way she can operate a little bit more healthy, and so on and so forth. Thanks again for watching the adventure, guys. Thanks again for comments, and thanks again for throwing in some stuff. What else can I throw in the end here? Oh yeah, so fuel system, cool news. One of the people that actually follow me, and I've sold them stuff before, had an extra DSX-1, the standalone little fuel that'll go off to the side, so I don't have to drop the tank. I'm gonna throw that in, and then I'm probably, for the first bits, we'll see if I can get my hands on someone's old Z06 fuel system. I'll pop it in here, like the HPF and the injectors. If not, we'll probably save up and cry once, and maybe I'll buy the K-Tech or the Lingenfelter. We'll see. Anyways, guys, I've rambled on enough. Thanks again for watching. Press a like if you're enjoying the content, subscribe for more, and give me some feedback. Have a great day.